In this video, we're going to look at setting up the parallax scrolling. So let's just take a look at it in the game, explain a little bit about how it's going to set up. So you can see, it gives the illusion that it's just a seamless, forever, never-ending scrolling background. That's not quite true, as you'll see. What we're actually going to have is two copies. So we've got the city in the background and the city in the foreground. What we're going to have is two copies of each that are essentially going to be playing a game of leapfrog. So the copy, the image is scrolling, towards the left across the screen. When it leaves the screen, it's just essentially going to hop back over to the right-hand side, do a leapfrog basically. So there's going to be two copies of the front city and two copies of the back image, and scrolling to the left. When it exits the left-hand side of the screen, it's just going to leapfrog or jump back over to the right-hand side of the screen. So let's just get started with it. First thing we have to do is we're going to create another copy of each city. So this one I'm going to call this one City 2. So changing these names. What we don't want to change is the graphics name. So we're going to have two copies of City 1. That's the larger one in the background. Okay, and then here, we've got two things called City 2. We definitely don't want that. You can't have two variables name the same thing. So we're going to change that to City 3, City 3, 3, 3. Okay, and this one is going to have a copy of the City 2 graphic, the one in front, the smaller one. I'm going to copy that, paste it down here, and just change this to number 4. Okay, save that. And so we've got two copies of City 1 in the variables named City 1, City 2, and two copies of City 2 in City 3, City 4. To be honest, I could probably name these something a little bit more appropriate, but let's just get the job done for now. So, okay, what we want to do now is adjust the X properties of this copy. It's going to be set to 480, and set this one also to 480. So that was the X property on City 2 and the X property on City 4. So save that, back to the simulator, open up our current one, desktop, side scroller, main.lua. Okay, and it looks exactly the same, but what's actually happened is we've got, this is City 1, this is City 3. Now, in the background here, we've got this city, we've got another copy of it starting here, sort of off the screen. It's there, but we can't see it, but it's here. And same with this one, City 4. So City 2 is sitting out here in the background, and City 4 is sitting out here, off the screen, but ready to go. So what we're now going to set up is that the sideways scrolling. So let's just get started with it. So I'm going to create a what's called a function. And a function is just a group of instructions that we can call, or we can activate or run whenever we really want to. So self event and end. Okay, so this is the function. The function name is scroll city. These bits here we'll get to, just self comma event. And okay, so it's an empty function. Again, it's just a group of instructions that's sitting there ready to go. So what we actually want to do is get these graphics to call this function, and then we're going to write some instructions in here which are going to make it scroll to the left and do that leapfrog trick. Okay, so first up in here, I'm just going to type self.x equals self.x minus 3. Let's just try that. Again, I'll explain this in a moment. Let's just get it working. So what I'm going to do here is say City 1 dot enter frame. Just one thing to note. See how that's got a lowercase e, that's a capital F. Everything in Corona or Lua is case sensitive. We've got them here as well, like in this set reference point with the capitals. Make sure if it's in capitals, put it in capitals. If it's lowercase, put it in lowercase. So yeah, it's case sensitive. Okay, city1.enterFrame equals, and then all we want to say here is the name of this function, scroll city. And sometimes, like if this name, essentially what we're going to be doing is this graphic, every frame, and we'll get to what that is in a moment, is going to be calling this function, scroll city. Sometimes it's a good idea just to copy that and paste it there rather than type it out, just to make sure there's no typos. If that name doesn't match that name, it won't be calling the function, so this won't be happening. Anyway, let's just continue here. So then we're going to say runtime colon add event listener double quotes enter frame, a comma after the ending double quote, and that variable name city1. Okay, so essentially what's happening here is every frame, and by default the frame rate on Corona is 30 frames per second. So again, with frame rate, it's more sort of applicable to like a film type thing, but essentially what's going to happen is if something's running on the frame rate, this function, this group of instructions, is going to get called 30 times per second, and whatever we type in here is going to apply itself to this graphic or this variable here. So what we're doing here, to cut everything short, is saying city1, we want you to do everything 30 times per second. And that something is to change your exposition. And so every frame, or 30 times a second, we want to say, hey, city1, which I'll get to why it says self in a second, we want to make your exposition equal to your current exposition minus 3. Okay, and we'll see what that does in a moment. Just with self here, why are we saying city1? If city1's calling this function, why do we type self here? Well, for efficiency, we're going to have a few variables or copies of that image all calling the one function. So after city1 says, hey, scroll city, do something to me, just think of self as city1, or whichever variable is calling the function. Okay, so read self here, but really it means city1. Okay, so let's just test this out. And so if we go over to the simulator, well, we just caught the end of it there. I'm going to just restart that. So we see it's working. City1 is moving itself 3 pixels every 30 seconds. I mean, 30 times per second, rather. Okay, so that's good. But one thing you probably noticed is it just disappears. It doesn't come back. Okay, so let's change that. So, well, actually, yeah, there's a few things we've got to do here. So, I'm going to start by, let's actually, before we do that, let's just get all of the graphics calling this. Okay, so I'm just going to paste this 3 times. Okay, so we've got city1. We want city2 to do the same thing. So change these to city2. City3. So all we're doing here is we're going to have all 4 of those images, or 4 of the variables, all calling this scroll city function, because they all need to scroll. Okay, so we'll save that. Just have a quick look in the simulator, and we see we've got them both scrolling, but we still don't have that leapfrog effect. So in the next video, we're going to start up and do that.